My first review I did, or summary, I did it about Brave New World. I thought the second one must be related. And 1984. Dystopia in the future, near future, and a very, very interesting read. The main character in 1984 is Winston. Winston is a man living in a country called Oceania. So it's a made up country in a world that contains only three states: Oceania, Eurasia, and East Asia. He's part of the political party, the ruling party, but he's from the outer class, which you've got the inner party, the outer party, and then the general public. And he's from the outer party. He works in the Ministry of Truth. So he's a truth teller. His job is to make sure that history is told in the up-to-date, accurate way. So if the Ministry of Plenty says that we have increased the chocolate rations to 50 grams per person per week, he has to go into the last month article, which said that the chocolate rations will be 70 grams per week, and remove that from the history so people won't remember that. And when Oceania was at war with East Asia, everything was about the enemy, the great enemy, East Asia, and his job was to make sure that the history is updated. And when at some stage in the novel, the history becomes the state no longer at war with East Asia, and now they are at war with the third state, which is Eurasia. So his job became to go back in all the articles, all the books and everything to make sure it's telling the truth, the up-to-date truth, that they're no longer at war with East Asia, so East Asia is not the enemy, to dissect all of these references from the history. Their job was also to update the language so the language is compatible with the society. To make sure that people are using the correct language in line with what the other ministries, the other three ministries in the society. So we talked about the Ministry of Plenty, and there was the Ministry of Peace, which concerns all about war, and the Ministry of Love, which he will be visiting very soon. Winston is member of the outer party, so he has to follow the rules and traditions of the party, but he disobeys that. He owns a diary, so he writes in his diary, which is a bad thing. He also falls in love with Julia, who then starts dating him, and that's outside the party lines, which is another bad thing, and they shouldn't be doing that. And they fall in love and they started a relationship, and their relationship eventually evolved into plotting with O'Brien, who's a very senior ranking member of the party in the Ministry of Truth. And they keep having this eye contact every time they have the 2 minutes hate, 2 minutes of hate, when they run these videos and shouting hate for the enemies of the state, and everybody feels great about it. So eventually Winston links up with O'Brien. They're starting having this conversations. O'Brien supplies him with material about the coming revolution, recruiting him and Julia for the cause. And one day they're all captured. Winston is now in the Ministry of Love because he is being tortured, imprisoned, trying to get revelation about the movement that he was starting, and the person interrogating him is O'Brien. O'Brien keeps interrogating him, trying to get confessions from him. Of course, he doesn't break till they take him to room 101. In room 101, you face your biggest fears. For him, it was the rats, and then he gets confined place with the rats, and he breaks down and he does everything they want him, and then they release him, breaking his soul. So they broke his soul, and then they released him back to the society, and then he started seeing himself doing what he saw the others before him who were broken doing, just waiting for death in submission, and the state won. One important thing about this novel that important in the details of the summary of the novel, is the Big Brother. The Big Brother is always watching you. This screen, this eye is always on your case, watching what you're doing, watching what you're following, what you're reading, what you're thinking. The Big Brother is this mysterious person at the head of the pyramid of the ruling class. No one knows who the Big Brother is or what the Big Brother is, but everybody careful and worshipping the Big Brother. A lot of people, when they talked about 1984 as a novel, they think that 1984 was written by George Orwell to represent the Soviet Union. And I think that's wrong. George Orwell wrote Animal Farm about the Soviet Union and communism. 1984 was written after the Second World War, and it was a mysterious novel that can be interpreted in any way. Big Brother is watching you, you can apply it to every day. Try and search Big Brother watching you on Google and see what you'll get. Big Brother is watching you. Big Brother is Facebook, it's the state, it's Google, it's everything. I might be wrong, but I think George Orwell wrote this novel referring to Britain, America, and these countries. He could foresee in the future these countries gradually changing into totalitarian regimes, forbidding freedom of thinking and freedom of expressions in a subtle way, in using propagandas, in using these mysterious ways of controlling the masses, and in shifting who the enemy is. So today the enemy is this country, tomorrow the enemy is a different country, and everybody thinks again, oh, our old friends are old enemies are now our friends. And if I may say that, think of Germany, because 5 years from when the end of Second World War, Germany became an ally to the West, Western Germany at least. Think of the Soviet Union and Russia, where we keep shifting from being an enemy, being the friend. Think of the Middle East. Think of all these countries and how these things are shifting and how the truth is shifting with that. And that's what probably the most interesting thing and intriguing thing about this book. What about the book is its use in popular culture. Everyone talks about 1984. Everyone pretends that they've read 1984. And the references, the Big Brother, we've watched the series and stuff like that, and it's always referenced in different things. The Room 101 is also used in popular culture. It's got a lot of references, but the idea itself is referenced a lot. And the idea that there is some sort of secret ideology that controlling the world, and are hidden, and they're controlling everything we do, and they are watching us continuously. Disturbing as it is, of course, this is, a lot of people, it's a conspiracy theory, and I don't believe in that. I believe it is a conspiracy theory. But the underlining thinking about it, that we, the masses, we are controlled, is the thing that makes you think and wonder about this state we are in, and how this can happen to any society. And your choice to be Winston, or to be the broken Winston after he was interrogated and gave up everything, or to be any other random character in that novel that believes everything the state tells them to believe, do everything as the state, and follow the ministry of truth by believing that truth.